Okay, so Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. Okay, so kita akan belajar chapter 6 chemical equilibrium. Okay, so dalam video ni saya akan cover 6.1 je dulu, iaitu dynamic equilibrium. Okay, so our learning outcome adalah you should be able to explain the following terms: reversible reaction, dynamic equilibrium and law of mass action. That means habis video ni, kalau saya tanya reversible reaction tu apa, dynamic equilibrium apa, law of mass action tu apa, that you should be able to answer the question lah. Okay, and then state the characteristic of a system in equilibrium. Okay, so once dah faham what is equilibrium, you should be able to state apa karakteristik pada equilibrium tu, and then interpret the curve of concentration of reactant and product against time for a reversible reaction. Okay, so akan ada graph lah, concentration versus time, and then you should be able to interpret the graph. Okay, alright, and then let us start. Okay, so the first one is irreversible reaction. Okay, so kalau dalam learning outcome kita tak ada pun lah, you should understand irreversible, but the point kenapa saya nak tunjuk ini juga sebab ini relate balik kepada apa yang kita selalu belajar before this lah. Okay, so irreversible reaction adalah reaction that take place in one direction and the reaction continues until one of the reactant is completely used up and the reaction stop. Okay, for example, irreversible reaction adalah macam bawah ni. A plus B menghasilkan C plus D. Okay, so A plus B here is reactant. C plus D adalah product. Okay, so as you can see, arrow dia macam ni. So arrow macam ni kita panggil irreversible reaction. Okay, so maksudnya reaction ni, A ni akan react dengan B dan akan menghasilkan produk C dan D. Okay, until salah satu daripada reactant A and B ni completely use up. Okay, macam limiting reactant lah. Kiranya A excess ke B limiting katakan. Okay, so reaction ni akan proceed selagi mana B masih ada, and once B habis, sebab B adalah limiting reactant, so reaction ni akan stop. Okay, so that is irreversible reaction. Okay, and this is general example, but if you want to look at the real example is this one lah. CH4 plus Cl2 in the presence of UV dapat CH3Cl plus HCl. Okay, this one next semester kamu akan belajar reaction ni. So ini sama juga, dia adalah irreversible reaction. That means reaction dia akan berlaku sampai one of the reactant ni completely use up, and then reaction tu akan stop. Okay, but kita nak tengok apa beza irreversible reaction ni dengan reversible reaction. Okay, so reversible, the word reversible means the reaction take place in both direction. So reaction tu berlaku dalam dua direction. That means daripada reactant pergi produk, daripada produk pergi balik ke reactant. Okay, so in reversible reaction, not all reactant are changed to product because the product can dissociate to form the reactants again. Okay, dissociate means terurai lah. So maksud dia dekat sini adalah A adalah reactant, B adalah product. That means A akan produce B. Okay, and once B is produced, B ni akan dissociate ataupun terurai to produce A balik. Okay, so as you can see, arrow here is reversible. Ada satu arrow A pergi B, arrow lagi satu B pergi A. So inilah yang arrow ni to indicate that itu adalah reversible reaction. Okay, so ingat reversible reaction, produk, reactant menghasilkan produk. Tapi once produk terhasil, produk tu akan dissociate untuk hasilkan reactant balik. Okay, and this reaction will not stop lah, dia tak akan berhenti. Alright, and another thing you should know adalah kalau saya guna the word forward reaction after this, okay, so let's say if I use the word forward reaction, what I mean is from reactant pergi product. Okay, forward reaction adalah dari reactant pergi product, from left to right. Tapi kalau saya sebut reverse reaction, maksudnya from right to left. That means from product to reactant. Okay, alright, and then reversible reaction adalah reaction which take place in both forward and reverse direction. Ini saya dah cakap tadi lah, reaction yang take place both forward dari left to right and reverse right to left. Okay, alright, so ini example yang general. So macam biasa, saya akan bagi satu example yang real one. So this one, hydrogen gas plus iodine gas, reversible equation, and then produce Hi gas. In a reversible reaction, initially the reaction proceed toward the formation of product. Okay, macam saya cakap lah, first H2 and I2 will react, and it will produce Hi. Okay, so as soon as some of the product molecule form, that means as soon as Hi is formed, the reverse reaction begin to take place. That means Hi ni akan mula dissociate untuk menghasilkan H2 dan I2. Okay, so reactant molecule H2 and I2 are formed from dissociation of the product molecule. So exactly the same macam saya explain tadi, cuma by using the real example. Okay, so next kita tengok page 2. Alright, so tadi learning outcome you should be able to understand dynamic equilibrium, so kena interpret concentration time graph. Okay, so sini saya mix lah dua benda ni. Okay, sebab saya rasa lagi senang nak explain this way. Okay, so ini adalah graph concentration versus time. So concentration is the y-axis, time is the x-axis, and then this graph is for this equation lah. Okay, A menghasilkan B, A adalah reactant, B adalah product. So ada forward reaction, ada reverse reaction. And then from the graph, interpretation dia adalah dekat sini lah. The concentration of A decreases over time. Okay, so kenapa dia kata concentration A berkurang? Sebab let's say A adalah reactant. That means A ni ada satu nilai concentration dia tersendirilah masa reaction tu start. Tapi A kan menghasilkan B. So that means concentration A akan makin berkurang sebab dia menghasilkan B. Ataupun if you want to look at the graph, sinilah graph dia. Okay, so concentration A asalnya dekat sini. Alamak, terbesar pula. Okay, so concentration A asal dekat sini. Okay. Tapi as time goes by, A will produce B. That means concentration A akan berkurang dan berkurang. Tapi dia tak habislah. Dia akan constant at one point. Kita tengok. Okay, and then sama juga untuk B. The concentration of B increases over time. Kenapa B increases? Sebab tadi A kan produce B. That means concentration B ni akan increases over time. Okay, so kalau kita tengok dia punya graph, dia inilah concentration B increases over time. Okay, and then after time T1, A and B remain constant. A square bracket ni maksudnya concentration. So concentration A and concentration B remain constant. So where is T1? T1 is here. Okay, so after time T1 ni, T1 ni arrow ni graph ni semua straight line je. It shows that the concentration of A and concentration of B remain constant. Dia dah tak berubah dah. Okay. Tapi macam saya cakap tadi, reversible reaction dia tak stop. Reaction ni will not stop. So the reaction did not stop after time T1. Walaupun kamu nampak concentration ni constant, tapi dia bukan stop tau reaction ni. Reaction ni masih berlaku. Tapi kenapa dia punya graph dia constant? Sebab the rate of forward and the reverse reaction becomes equal. Concentration A and B remain constant. Okay. So pada masa ni, pada masa tadi kan concentration B meningkat, lepas tu dia constant. Concentration A berkurang, lepas tu dia constant. So dekat dia constant ni, this is what we call equilibrium. Okay. So when the concentration of A and B remain constant, this shows that the reaction has reached equilibrium. So reaction ni dah mencapai equilibrium. Okay. And then after time T1, the reaction continue indefinitely even after the equilibrium has been attained. Okay. So tadi saya cakap reaction ni tak stop. That means once dia dah dapat equilibrium, the reaction will still continue and continue and continue. So disebabkan reaction tu masih continue, itulah yang kita panggil dynamic equilibrium. Okay. So equilibrium tu adalah apabila dah tak ada perubahan concentration A and B, dah tak nampak perubahan dah. And dynamic equilibrium tu apabila reaction tu masih proceed walaupun kita tak nampak perubahan, tapi actually reaction tu masih berjalan, and that's what we call dynamic equilibrium. Okay. And then extra information, at equilibrium the concentration of reactant and product remain constant but not necessarily equal. Okay, so ini another thing nak faham. Saya banyak kali saya cakap concentration A, concentration B at equilibrium is constant. Constant mean dia ada satu nilai dia yang tetap. Okay, kalau kamu perasan nilai concentration A around here bila dia equilibrium. Concentration B around here. Adakah concentration dia sama? The answer is no. Okay, so dia concentration tu constant tapi tidak semestinya sama nilai dia. Okay, so equilibrium can only be obtained in a closed system where the reaction is carried out in a sealed container and none of the reactant or product are lost. Okay, so kiranya kalau nak capai equilibrium, reaction tu mesti berlaku dalam closed system yang ada penutup. That means vapor ke apa benda ke gas ke dalam tu tak boleh keluar. Okay, so kiranya kalau kamu nak imagine, kita kena buat reaction dalam bekas yang bertutup macam ni. Tapi kalau kamu buat reaction dalam bekas yang macam ni, so this water ke vapor ke apa benda ke semua boleh keluar. So ini kita panggil open system, and in open system equilibrium tu takkan berlaku lah. Okay, tak wujud. Okay, tapi kalau dalam ini, okay, ini adalah closed system. Okay, so dalam closed system we will be able to achieve equilibrium. Okay, alright, then this one graph je kan, A, B, A, B, A, B. Okay, so jom kita tengok example. Okay, so dalam example ni N2O4 bertukar jadi NO2. Okay, so N2O4 colourless and NO2 is brown colour lah. Okay, so when we introduce some of N2O4 liquid into a sealed flask kept at 100 degrees Celsius, a change occur immediately. Okay, so a change tu maksudnya from liquid ni, this N2O4 akan vaporize lah jadi gas. Okay, so the liquid vaporize and the gas begin to turn to pale brown. Okay, so kiranya bila N2O4 ni vaporize, dia akan jadi NO2. Okay, so the colour slowly darken but after a while no further colour change can be seen. Okay, so kita tengok satu-satu lah. Okay, so this one A, so mula-mula the liquid is introduced into this beaker. Okay, and this beaker, this flask. Okay, and then dia brown sikit-sikit. Okay, masa baru mula start tu. And then this one, dia dah brown tu dah makin terang, okay, over time. And then as time goes by lagi, so yang colour brown tadi tu dah jadi sangat terang. Okay, tapi kalau kita biar lagi masa tu berlalu, somehow this brown dia kekal brown yang sama. Dia tak jadi hitam ke tak apa ke. Okay, so dia masih, colour dia masih sama. So ini menunjukkan the system already achieve equilibrium. Okay, so reaction tu dah capai equilibrium. Okay, sebab kalau that means tak ada perubahan mata kasar kita boleh nampak lah. Okay, so as you can see, no observable change here. Okay, so A adalah the reaction start. B, the mixture become pale brown. N2O4 decompose to reddish brown NO2 sebab NO2 kan colour brown. Okay, and then the mixture reach final colour. Dah sampai final colour, the reaction reach equilibrium. So kita biar lagi, the concentration and colour remain constant. That means at equilibrium, the rate of forward reaction equal to the rate of reverse reaction, and there will be no change in colour dekat sini lah. Tak ada perubahan colour. Okay, so you should be able to imagine equilibrium macam tu lah. Okay, reaction tu berterusan tapi dia rate dia sama, so kita tak nampak perubahan. Okay, and then next one, last learning outcome, bukan last lah, kita kena tahu adalah characteristic of a system in equilibrium. Okay, so tadi kita dah faham what is equilibrium. Equilibrium adalah keadaan di mana tak ada perubahan yang kita nampak dah, tapi reaction tu still berlaku, and as time goes by, the reaction tu still berlaku, so itu dynamic equilibrium. Tapi bila keadaan berlakunya equilibrium ni? Okay, so the concentration of reactant and product are constant over time. Okay, so ini karakteristik sistem dalam equilibrium. Concentration reactant dan concentration product tu constant. Okay, constant over time. And then sebab apa dia constant? Sebab forward reaction rate dia sama macam reverse reaction rate. Okay, and then the reaction quotient Q. Okay, so Q ni Q besar. Okay, capital letter Q is reaction quotient. The value of reaction quotient equal to the value of equilibrium constant K. Okay, ataupun Q equal to K. K adalah equilibrium constant. So kalau nanti kita nak buat pengiraan, kita akan compare Q dengan K lah. Okay, so macam mana kita nak tahu sistem tu equilibrium ke tak? We will compare the value of Q and K. If the value of Q and K is the same, that means the reaction is at equilibrium. If the value is not the same, then ada pula benda lain. Okay, not equilibrium lah. Okay, so next kita proceed to this one. Kita kena tahu what is the law of mass action kan from our learning outcome tu, ataupun law of chemical equilibrium lah. So this is the definition, as you can see, quite long. Okay, so law of mass action state that for any equilibrium at a given temperature, the product or multiplication of the concentration product, square bracket ni concentration, is raised to the power equal to its coefficient in the chemical equation, divided by the product of concentration reactant, is raised to a power equal to coefficient in the chemical equation will be a constant. Okay, so definition dia sebenarnya kalau kita baca betul-betul, dia adalah equation lah. Dia explain macam mana equation tu ditulis. Okay, so nak faham law of mass action, kita tengok bawah ni. Okay, so ini example yang saya selalu guna lah. AA plus BB equal to CC plus DD. Okay, kenapa ada AA, BB, CD ni? Okay, so the small letter A here, maksud dia adalah stoichiometry coefficient. Okay, so yang small letter A, B, C semua ni adalah stoichiometric coefficient, ataupun kalau dalam equation sebenar macam ni lah. Macam ni. Okay, number 2 here adalah stoichiometric coefficient. Okay. Alright. And then, tadi definition law of mass action cakap, at equilibrium, kalau kita darabkan concentration product, which is C and D lah. Okay. So, ini product. Ini adalah reactant. Okay, so kita darabkan concentration product, concentration C darab dengan concentration D yang besar ni, to the each raised to the power equal to its coefficient. So kiranya concentration C power to its stoichiometric coefficient C kecil, D power to stoichiometric coefficient D kecil. Okay, and then divide. Okay, so divide by the concentration of A. Okay, darab dengan concentration B to the power of stoichiometric A, stoichiometric B, equal to constant iaitu K. Alright, so kiranya K ni tadi saya cakap apa? K ni adalah equilibrium constant. Okay, so maksudnya law of mass action ni ajar kamu cara untuk determine equilibrium constant by using this concentration here lah. Okay, so ambil concentration product, power stoichiometry, bahagi dengan concentration reactant, power stoichiometry. Okay, and macam saya cakap tadi, square bracket here maksudnya concentration. Okay, so mesti pakai square bracket lah. Alright, so kalau ikut chapter 6.1, kita belajar sampai sini. Tapi actually, nanti untuk 6.2, kita akan guna balik cara untuk tulis stoichiometric, cara untuk tulis equilibrium constant punya formula ni, untuk buat pengiraan. Okay, alright, so thank you.